It feels like we're always sprinting just to keep up in the tech world, right? There's
Yeah.
always a new trend, a new technology, a new competitor coming at us. But how do we make sure we're in the right position, not just to survive, but to really innovate and grow amidst all the chaos? That's what we're looking at today, the business model canvas.
What I find so interesting about the business model canvas, the BMC, is that it cuts through complexity. It's like this really high-powered lens that just brings your whole business model into focus on a single page.
So no more of those huge traditional business plans that often just sit on a shelf.
That's right. Think of the BMC as a living framework. It's visual, it's collaborative, and it's designed for rapid iteration, which is so important in tech today. Our sources highlight 4 key advantages that I think you'll really appreciate.
Let's get to those, starting with the BMC's focus on what really matters.
Absolutely. Imagine building a complex machine. You wouldn't just start putting parts together randomly, would you? You need a blueprint. And the BMC is that blueprint. It breaks your business down into 9 interconnected building blocks.
Okay, I'm picturing this blueprint now. What are those core building blocks?
So we've got customer segments, value propositions, channels, customer relationships, revenue streams. That's all about understanding your market and how you connect with it. Then there are key activities, key resources, key partnerships, which represent the engine of your business. And finally, there's cost structure, which underpins everything.
But it's not just about listing those out, right? It's how they all work together.
Exactly. And that's where the visual layout of the BMC is so powerful. You can see immediately how, for example, your key activities feed into your value proposition, or how your customer relationships affect your revenue streams. It's like having X-ray vision into how your business works.
This visual aspect is really interesting. It feels so much more intuitive than a big text-heavy plan.
It's designed for clarity and speed. Imagine you're in a meeting trying to align your team on a new initiative. With the BMC, everyone can see the big picture, identify potential problems, and contribute more meaningfully.
So it's not just having a plan, it's a plan that everyone gets and can contribute to.
And that brings us to another advantage. The BMC is built for speed and agility. And the tech world moves so fast, right? You need a tool that can keep up with all the constant change and uncertainty.
I can see how the BMC, as a single-page visual, can be much faster to change than a long document. But can you give me a real-world example of this agility in action?
Let's say you're a software company and you're suddenly facing a huge shift in user behavior. With the BMC, you can quickly visualize how this change impacts your customer segments, your value proposition, your channels, everything. This lets you adjust your strategy quickly instead of being bogged down by bureaucracy.
So it's about being proactive instead of reactive.
Right. It's about anticipating challenges, testing assumptions, and pivoting to stay ahead. It really embodies the lean startup mentality that's so huge in tech, that build, measure, learn cycle.
And speaking of learning, our sources really emphasize how the BMC is great for communication.
It's like a universal language that everyone, from engineers to marketers to investors, can understand. Imagine, you're pitching a new product to investors. Instead of overwhelming them with text and data, you show them a clear, concise BMC. They immediately grasp your core value proposition, your target market, your key activities, and how it all comes together.
That's a great way to convey your vision and get everyone on the same page. But I'm wondering, the BMC is intentionally simple, right? Doesn't that risk oversimplifying complex business realities?
That's a good point, and it's important to remember that the BMC is a starting point, not the finish line. It's a high-level map, not a super detailed plan.
So it's about balance, right?
Yeah.
Finding that sweet spot between being clear and being complex.
Yes. The BMC lays the foundation, and then you can dig deeper with more detailed plans as needed.
That makes sense. Using the right tool at the right time. I'm also really interested in how the BMC puts the spotlight on the value proposition. We all know how crucial it is, but it's so easy to lose sight of that amid all the other complexities of running a business.
It's more than just highlighting it. It's about making it the core of your model. The BMC forces you to state the value you offer to your customers and then ensures that every other element works to support that.
So like a compass, it keeps you oriented toward what really matters.
Exactly. And that brings us to one of the most exciting things about the BMC, its potential to unlock innovation.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because we usually think of innovation as this mysterious thing, but the BMC seems to be saying that it can be approached in a much more structured and strategic way.
It's a shift in perspective from seeing innovation as random breakthroughs to seeing it as systematically exploring new possibilities. And the BMC provides the framework for that exploration.
Okay, so how does that play out? How can the BMC be used as a tool for innovation?
Imagine you're a tech company wanting to expand into a new market. You can use the BMC to brainstorm different customer segments, value propositions, and channels that might work in that market. You can test different hypotheses and iterate on your model based on what you learn. It becomes a space for experimenting and solving problems creatively.
I like how the BMC can be used for so much more than just starting a new business. It's a way to approach any challenge strategically, really.
Absolutely. Whether you're a startup founder, a CEO of a huge company, or a team leader, the BMC can help clarify your strategy, get everyone aligned, and drive innovation.
And for our listeners who are always busy, what would you say is the most compelling reason to try the BMC?
It's about clarity and focus in a world that is so complex and chaotic. The BMC helps you take a step back, see the big picture, and make strategic decisions with confidence.
I think that resonates with our listeners. The BMC gives you a way to regain control and chart a course towards real innovation in a world where we're pulled in so many directions.
It's about turning complexity into clarity and transforming challenges into opportunities.
That's great. Now, I know our listeners are probably eager to hear more about how they can implement the BMC in their own companies. What would you tell them?
The best part about the BMC is that it's simple. You don't need any fancy software or expensive consultants. Just grab a whiteboard, get your team together, and start sketching out your business model. The process itself is so valuable even if you don't get it perfect on the first try.
There's something freeing about that. It makes strategic thinking accessible to everyone.
But if you're looking for something more collaborative and digital, there are some great tools out there.
And I think one of our partners, IdeaScale, offers a platform just for that, right?
That's right. IdeaScale Whiteboard is a powerful but intuitive platform for creating, sharing, and working together on BMCs with your team. It takes the core principles and adds digital features like real-time collaboration, version control, and integrations with other tools.
That sounds like a great resource for teams that want to take their BMC work to the next level.
And they have a free trial, so you can see how powerful IdeaScale Whiteboard is for yourself.
Fantastic. We'll add a link to their website in the show notes.
Mm.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to go back to something you mentioned, the BMC's ability to encourage innovation. Can you talk about that a bit more? How can the BMC help companies be more innovative?
One of the main ways is by fostering a culture of experimentation. It's not about creating a fixed plan and never deviating from it. It's about testing assumptions, gathering feedback, and changing your model as you learn. This iterative process helps you see failure as a learning opportunity and adapt quickly to the ever-changing market.
So it's about bringing that build, measure, learn approach of the lean startup to your entire business model.
Exactly. The BMC provides that framework for continuous learning. Another way the BMC helps with innovation is by breaking down those silos we often see in organizations. By bringing people from different departments together to collaborate on the BMC, you create a shared understanding of the business and encourage people to come up with new ideas across departments.
That's such an important point because innovation really happens where different disciplines intersect.
Yes, the BMC is a common language that helps people with different areas of expertise communicate effectively and create new solutions together.
So it's not just a tool for strategic planning, it's a way to build a more innovative and collaborative culture.
Absolutely. That's why I think the BMC is so useful for leaders in tech today. It provides the clarity, agility, and framework for collaboration that you need to navigate complexity, adapt to change, and drive real innovation.
Well said. For those ready to start using the BMC in their organizations, what's your top tip for getting started?
Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Get a whiteboard, get your team together, and start sketching out your business model. You'll be surprised what you learn.
It's about that spirit of experimentation and learning as you go.
Exactly. And remember, the BMC changes with you. It evolves as your business does. Don't be afraid to iterate, to change directions, to keep refining your model based on feedback and data.
It's about being flexible and embracing uncertainty and change.
If you're looking for a tool to help with your BMC process, check out IdeaScale Whiteboard. It's a fantastic platform for creating, sharing, and working on BMCs as a team. Plus, they offer a free trial so you can try it out.
Great. We'll include a link to their website in the show notes. I think it's important to remember that the business model canvas is more than just a tool. It's a whole way of thinking about your business, one that embraces clarity, agility, and continuous innovation.
It's about challenging what you think you know, exploring new possibilities, and always trying to create more value for your customers.
By adopting that mindset, you can truly unlock your business's potential and achieve incredible things.
So go out there and turn your work team into innovators. One of the toughest things I see leaders struggling with is explaining their value proposition in a way that really connects with their audience.
It's like that whole elevator pitch thing, right? Being able to explain quickly and clearly why someone should care about what you're offering.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the business model canvas can be so helpful. It makes you go beyond those vague statements and really pinpoint the value you're giving to your customers.
So you're saying it's not enough to just say, we make great software or we have amazing customer service.
Hmm.
You have to go deeper and understand the real, tangible benefits you deliver.
Right. Think of it this way. Every customer has a job to be done. They're trying to solve a problem, reach a goal, get a specific outcome. Your value proposition has to show how you help them do that better, faster, or more easily than anyone else.
It's about understanding their needs and wants on a deeper level.
And the BMC gives you a way to do that. When you're working on the value proposition section of the canvas, you have to ask yourself some hard questions. What are the specific pains and gains of our customers? How does our product or service solve those problems and create those benefits? What makes our solutions stand out?
It's about really understanding your customers.
Absolutely. You need to see the world through their eyes. What motivates them? What frustrates them? What are they missing? Once you get that, you can start building a value proposition that they'll really respond to.
And I bet that process can also lead to some surprising insights and innovations.
Well, for sure. Sometimes when you're really digging into your value proposition, you find hidden opportunities or you realize you've been focusing on the wrong things.
Do you have an example of how that might work in a real business?
Sure. Let's say you sell project management software. You might start by thinking your value proposition is, we help teams manage projects more efficiently. But then as you do more customer research, you realize your customers are actually more worried about collaboration and communication than just efficiency. They hate the lack of transparency and all the emails and meetings. So you change your value proposition to, we streamline team communication and make collaboration seamless.
That little change in focus could make a big difference in how your target audience sees you.
Exactly. It might even lead to new features or marketing strategies that you hadn't even thought of before.
It's really interesting how the BMC can help you clarify what you're already doing, but also come up with totally new ideas.
And that's how you stay ahead of the game. It's not enough to just have a good product or service. You always have to be looking for ways to give your customers more and stand out from the crowd.
And the BMC helps you do that in a structured way. It makes you question assumptions and explore new possibilities.
Exactly. Now, another crucial part of the value proposition is knowing who you're selling to. Because even the most amazing product won't do any good if it doesn't reach the right people.
So figure out who your ideal customer is and tailor your message to them.
Right. The BMC makes you be really specific about your target audience. Who are they? What are their demographics? What are their pain points? What do they want to achieve? Once you answer those questions, you have a detailed customer profile that can shape everything you do, from how you develop your product to how you market it.
It's not about trying to be everything to everyone. Focus on the customers who will really benefit from what you offer.
Exactly. And the BMC helps you avoid trying to please everyone, which usually just leads to so-so products and unhappy customers.
It's about being strategic and using your resources where they'll have the most impact.
And that leads us to another important part of the BMC, thinking about your revenue streams. Because ultimately, you need a sustainable business model to reach your goals and create lasting value.
It's not enough to just have a great product and loyal customers. You need to be bringing in money to keep growing and innovating.
Right. The BMC forces you to be clear about how you're going to make money. What are your pricing models? How are you selling your product or service? How much does it cost to get a new customer? By understanding how your revenue streams work, you can spot potential problems and opportunities and make sure your business model is financially solid.
So it's not just about the money itself, it's how that money comes in.
Yeah, the BMC helps you see the different things you can change to increase revenue, lower costs, and make your business more profitable. And when you connect your revenue streams to your value proposition and your customer segments, you can build the business model that's good for your customers and your bottom line.
It's about creating a system where everybody wins.
Exactly. And that's what's so powerful about the business model canvas. It helps you see your business as a whole system where every piece is important for reaching your goals.
It's a way of thinking about strategy that's much bigger than traditional business planning.
And when you embrace that bigger picture, you can unlock new levels of clarity, agility, and innovation in your company.
That's a great point. Now, I know we've talked about a lot in this section, but I want to go back to something you mentioned before, the importance of customer research. What are some ways our listeners can get the information they need to create a compelling value proposition and figure out their ideal customer segments?
There are a lot of different ways. It really depends on your industry and who you're trying to reach. But some good methods are customer interviews, surveys, looking at website data, and keeping an eye on what people are saying on social media.
So, gather information from different places to get a good overall picture of your customers.
Right. But it's not just about collecting data, it's about understanding it. What are the main themes? What are the needs that aren't being met? Where can you create the most value?
It's turning data into knowledge and then using that knowledge to take action.
And the business model canvas helps you do just that. When you add your customer insights to the canvas, you start to see how they affect every part of your business model. It helps you make better decisions about product development, marketing, sales, and everything else.
It's not just theory, it's a way to get real results.
Absolutely. And the more you use the BMC, the more you'll see how it can change how you think about your business and approach innovation.
I love that. Now, before we go to the last part of our deep dive, where we'll talk about how the business model canvas can help with sustainable growth and finding new market opportunities, let's give our listeners a minute to think about what we've discussed.
Good idea. Take a second and think about your own business model. How clearly can you describe your value proposition? How well do you know your target customers? Do your revenue streams align with your big picture goals?
These are important questions that can spark some big insights and changes in your organization. We'll be back in a minute to explore these ideas more and help you get the most out of the business model canvas. Welcome back to our deep dive into the business model canvas. I'm excited to continue and see how the BMC can help us not just clarify our current strategies, but also find new ways to grow and innovate.
It's amazing how the BMC can be like a magnifying glass for what's already working and a telescope for finding what's out there.
I like that. So let's talk about growth. Every business leader wants to find sustainable ways to grow their reach and impact. How does the BMC fit in?
Well, the BMC encourages you to really explore your options systematically. It's not about just chasing after every new trend that comes along. It's about thinking strategically and figuring out the best ways to expand.
So you're saying it's about being deliberate and choosing the right growth initiatives.
Exactly. The BMC makes you ask important questions. Can we reach new customers with what we're already offering? Do we need to change our product or service for a different market? Are there new channels we can use to reach more people?
It's almost like using the BMC to do strategic experiments.
That's right. You can use the BMC to map out different ways to grow and then test those ideas in the real world. That way, you can lower your risk and make decisions based on data.
And this goes back to what we were talking about before, agility.
Hmm.
The BMC lets you respond to the changing market and make changes quickly when you need to.
Absolutely. Being able to adapt is crucial in today's fast-paced world if you want to not only survive, but actually grow.
Now, let's move on to innovation. We tend to think of innovation as those big, game-changing breakthroughs. But the BMC seems to suggest that innovation can also happen gradually and continuously.
It's about questioning how things are done and always trying to improve and evolve. The BMC can help build a culture of innovation throughout your entire company.
So it's not just about creating the next big thing, it's also about doing things better, faster, or more efficiently.
Right. And the BMC can help with these smaller innovations by encouraging teams to ask questions like, how can we streamline what we do? Can we use new technology or work with new partners to improve our value proposition? Are there ways to lower costs without sacrificing quality?
It's like making innovation part of everyone's job, not just a select few.
And the BMC provides a common language and framework for making that happen. It helps teams work together, come up with new ideas, and test those ideas in a structured way.
So it's not just about filling out a form. It's about creating a mindset of continuous improvement and innovation.
Exactly. And that's where the true power of the BMC lies. It's not just a planning tool. It's a way to transform your whole organization.
I like that. Now, for our listeners who are ready to jump in and start using the BMC, what advice do you have for them? Where's a good place to start?
Just start. Don't wait until everything's perfect. Grab a whiteboard, get your team in a room, and start sketching out your business model. You'll learn a lot from the process itself.
It's about experimenting and learning as you go.
Yes. And remember, the BMC isn't set in stone. It should change as your business changes. So don't be afraid to make changes, shift direction, and keep refining your model based on what you learn.
Be flexible and open to uncertainty and change.
And if you're looking for a tool to help you with the BMC, I recommend IdeaScale Whiteboard. It's a great platform for creating, sharing, and working on BMCs as a team in a digital and interactive way. Plus, they have a free trial so you can try it out.
Perfect. We'll add a link to their website in the show notes. As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with this thought. The business model canvas is more than just a tool. It's a way of looking at your business that encourages clarity, agility, and constant innovation.
It's about challenging what you think you know, finding new possibilities, and always trying to create more value for your customers.
And when you do that, you can unlock your business's true potential and achieve amazing results. Remember to book a demo for a free trial of IdeaScale Whiteboard, the tool we discussed to help you get started. Thanks for joining us on the Innovation Brief, and we'll see you next time.